Hey guys, Blake here with another video. Glad to have you here. Heaps of new people and heaps of stuff going on, so I thought what better way to cover everything off than just to do a full fish room tour. So rest assured, even if you've been here from the very beginning, there's plenty to take note of in this video, so there'll be a little bit for everyone. So let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so yeah, definitely part of this was that there's been so many new subscribers coming on board lately. So I thought for those of you that aren't aware of what I've got in the fish room at the moment, it would be a good point to sort of bring you up to speed. And actually, while we're on that topic, notice in the analytics, only about 50% of my viewers are subscribed. So if you are one of those people and maybe you just haven't thought about hitting the subscribe button yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did, because it sort of helps me to continue to be motivated to pump out this content for you guys. So yeah, if you didn't mind hitting the subscribe button, that'd be awesome, and I'd really appreciate it. But other than that, we've got some pretty exciting things going on. Okay, so in terms of the composition of the room, we've got the main entrance just there, and then in front of me is a roller door because this is a garage. We've got the one saltwater tank. Like, I sort of structure it in terms of aisles just because it's easier for water changes and stuff. So I've just got the 6-foot racks here, 2 of them 3 stories high. As we spin around, we've got my shrimp tank, the blue eyes tank, and a bunch of 4-foot tanks here. And then on the other side of that, there's my cinder block stand and some, try and do the aquascape sort of stuff over that side, just to keep it over there, but for no other reason. So I think it makes sense to get started on the rack here behind me. Okay, so if we start off down the bottom, in here we've got a heap of Daisy's rice fish. They're nicely conditioned now. I'm happy with the progress on these guys. And we've got a single koi betta. This guy's actually the father to a spawn that we'll have a look later on down the track, but he's an absolute ripper, and I was stoked to get some fry out of him. So these guys, I had some outdoors in a pond, so you can see there's a little fry there, which was semi-successful. I just don't think I got him out there really fast enough. And that's pretty much it for this. You will see a running theme of these terracotta pots that I like to do plants in. Yeah, you might occasionally see these North Queensland algae shrimp, which are in a lot of the tanks as well. Moving across, we've got some crebensis in here. These are from Josh from Aquamate, and I'll put the card above now of when he came and did a tour 3 months ago if you're interested, and that's when he dropped off these crib. They've had a few spawns as well, but I really need to get the best looking ones separated to breed and make some more of these if I feel like it. Moving across, we've actually got a recently pretty empty tank. I know it's a bit of a concern. What's happening? Am I losing my touch? Now this tank I just had a bunch of platies in, so I no longer keep platies, which is kind of sad. They were one of the first fish that I ever kept, and yeah, I just decided to move them on because we've got a few other plans here which we need the accommodation for. So just a few leftover bristlenose in here which will be sold in the next few days hopefully. Continuing to move along here, this is a bit of a grow out tank. We've got some DIY fry savers here which are pretty fun to use. So this one here contains Golden Wonder panchaks. You can just see one straight through the fly screen there. And this one here has some convict cichlids, because I used to have convicts in here, and then when I caught them out, I noticed there was a cloud of baby convicts, so I just caught them up at the time and put them in there, and that's pretty much how far my thought process has gone with them. And then in the main body of this tank, we've got some angelfish. So they're not quite as well trained as my last few spawns, that they would come up to the glass if I tapped the water down in that little pot there that you can see just hovering around center of screen. Okay, the next tank along has one of these hang on breeder boxes, which are a bit of an addiction I'm starting to get into. So we've got some peppermint bristlenose eggs there that were kicked out of the cave. I'm not too hopeful on hatching those. But apart from that, we've also got some more Golden Wonder panchaks in here and a spawning mop from the Bosemani rainbows. Then in the main body of the tank here, we've got some Praecox rainbow fish, dwarf neon rainbows, the females there at the front, and the males coming around to investigate now. And then we also have a Dumbo betta who's just there, which I won in that raffle from Australian Better Breeders Facebook page. So he's in there doing well, just growing out, and hopefully I'll breed him soon. But yeah, I was stoked to pick up that raffle. Once again, I'll put the video in the card above if you're interested in checking that out. So moving up now, this tank here has my Epistogramma McMasteri in it and some ornate rads. So these are Tiwa Creek ornate Radonocentris, and there's a pair of those, but I actually think they're both males. And then we've just got some Epistogramma McMasteri in there. There's actually about 6 or 8, but they all seem to be hiding in amongst the terracotta pots at the moment. So that's that for that tank. Absolutely one of my favourite fish, and yeah, I think I've only got one female though, which is a bit annoying. So I'll have to pull a pair and breed some more of these guys. Might have sold off too many females when I spawned them last. And next door we've got some new fish that I picked up the other day that only a couple of people would know about. These are blue panchaks. I was inspired by Shep's Aquatics. He picked up some of these, and yeah, I can get down for these, so I think they're a cool fish. So they're in here just with some grow outs of the Epistogramma cacatoides that I've got going on. This tank doesn't have a lot going on with it. Also, really sad news, I've only got one Epistogramma panduro left, that male down there, so they decided to beat each other up and all that, so lost the other 3, which is really unfortunate. Next door we've got a breeding pair of Epistogramma cacatoides. As you can see, I think this is a really nice specimen of a male here, and I'm stoked that he has spawned. The female's way up the back there underneath the heater, so we're probably not going to be able to see her, but they actually have a spawn in here. I've mentioned before that I tend to not separate spawns of Epistogrammas because typically the mums are really good parents, and also the fins, they do a bit of a flagging motion to teach the babies a lot of necessary tools to stay alive. So I try not to separate them if I can, but I actually accidentally disturbed this cave without realizing it was full of eggs. So rather than put it back and have them panic eat them, I decided to put them in another one of these hang-on breeder boxes, which is, yeah, as I say, growing to be a bit of a theme. In the body of this tank are just some Golden Wonder killifish, which I'm obviously breeding a fair few of because, yeah, a lot of people have been interested in those, which is kind of interests me because I didn't think they were that sought after, but yeah, I'm happy to make more of them. They're easy to breed. So next door we've got some paradise fish here, 4 paradise fish, which I ordered from All Fish to You. And then we've got some endlers and just some basically not culls, but just some koi guppies that weren't throwing off the most koi-like patterns. So I figure we can just mix them in with the endlers in here and see what happens. Just have a bit of a Frankenstein type tank in here, and yeah, just see what happens there. So they're all doing fine. The paradise fish, yeah, I didn't leave them up in that 20 litre tank for too long. They quickly moved down here once I moved the Epistogrammas out. Upstairs we've got another tank that I picked up from the Underwater Pet Expo, but yet to fill up with water. This one, the main reason I haven't filled it up yet is I need to waterlog the driftwood somehow, so I'll probably have to fill it up very slowly, like 10% per week or something for a long period of time. But yeah, I might not even fill it up in this house, who knows. Next door we've got my escaping from scraps tank that I did with that competition that Rachel O'Leary was running for a little while. I don't even think it was a competition, just a bit of fun, and it certainly was that. And then in here we've got the Odessa barbs that I got in the most recent mystery box, which is really awesome, and they're settling in well, and I really do love these fish. Next door we've got a bit of a dry start method, just a bunch of Monte Carlo in there and some Dragonstone. It is pretty much ready to fill up, I just haven't really got around to it yet, but we might need to soon. Next door we're breeding out some of these Epistogramma agassizii fire golds, I think they're called, and the female, if there wasn't so much glare, there is actually eggs in that tunnel there, but we won't disturb her too much so she doesn't eat them. And that's it for this 6-foot rack here. So we'll move on now to the other one. So starting from the top this time, we've got some honey blue eyes in here, Pseudomogil mellis, which I bred outside in an outdoor pond, but unfortunately at the last minute it looks like some dragonfly nymphs have got in and upset me a little bit. So there's about 8 or so in there, I think. Next door we've got a no filter, no CO2, no nothing tank in here, and this has some Bloody Mary cherry shrimp in here which I'm breeding out. And yeah, I just experimented with trimming that rotala in a bit of a shape, and I like the look of it, so we might have to do a bit more of that in the future. But this is a fun little tank, next to no maintenance. There is a bit of hair algae and stuff like that, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Moving next door, we've got my pygmy cory tank, and they're usually all hiding behind the filter. Let's see if we'll be able to see any. Looks like some darted across here. Yeah. So there is about a dozen or so pygmy cories in there now, growing in numbers. Another one that I'd like to really make more of, but yeah, I just have to sort of dedicate a bit of time to it. But yeah, super fun little fish, and worthwhile trying to make some more, I reckon, but super fun to watch. And next to them are my pair of betta rubra. You can see one of them just there. I'm actually thinking, oh, they're both there, right. I'm actually thinking to bring the sparkling gouramis into this tank and move these guys inside, just so I can watch them a bit closer and all of that. So I think the sparkling gouramis would also do really well in here, so potential change for the future. But these are a fun little fish, and I reckon they deserve a bit more eyeball time. Moving down, these are my koi tuxedo guppies, and it's a bit of a mess in here at the moment because I've been selling out of here, and we got just some bristlenose in here which I've been breeding albino female to a common male, or the females at the back there. But yeah, pretty self-sufficient little tank here. Just yeah, koi tuxedo guppies and bristlenose, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Next door we've got my pea puffers. The three amigos are over there. Where did one of them go? Oh, one of them's just snuck down the side. And then there's usually one lone ranger over here somewhere still. They haven't got along with him yet, so yeah, they still haven't decided to be friends yet. But yeah, these three are super tight knit, and yeah, still certainly thankful I jumped on the bandwagon of pea puffers. For those that don't know, pea puffers are super hard to come by in Australia. And you have to pay a pretty penny to get them. I had them on my bucket list to keep, so when I first saw the ad on Facebook that you could get them, I jumped on immediately, and actually got a bit worried after that because it seemed like there was a fair few of them around, but I think that the numbers look to have dried up again since, which is kind of a relief for me, I guess, and the outlay that I paid for these guys. But yeah, definitely hoping to breed them. Just packing on a bit of size for the moment, and we'll try and get a certain pair out of them and do all that stuff. So look out in the future for a pygmy / pea puffer breeding video, and also if you want to know how to care for them and all that, let me know as well, and certainly can put something like that together. I think the Lone Ranger is over here at the sponge filter. Certainly still got all 4 that I started with, so pretty happy with that side of things, and just feeding them on bloodworms and hikari vibrobites for the most part. Some live baby brine shrimp as well occasionally, and then of course snails and all that. Okay, moving down, we've got another pretty unique fish, I reckon. Well, there's German white tuxedo guppies in here as well, but there is another live bearer in here. These are platinum half-beaks. They're wrestling half-beaks, and they're also a live bearer, which is pretty interesting. I do have a care guide on these, which I'll put in the card above now. And yeah, super fun fish. And yeah, I was glad to have picked those up. My only regret is I wish I got some more. But we're going to pack some size onto them and hopefully breed out a few of those as well in due course. Okay, moving across now, we've got some Dragongappas in here, which yeah, doing quite well. I'm on to a number of generations out of these guys now, and yeah, they've been quite a prolific breeder. Outside of that, I also have some cherry shrimp in here and some peppermint bristlenose as well. I think they're L182 bristlenose. So I've been lucky enough to get the peppermint bristlenose to breed in here, which was really exciting. Since then, they've had eggs a few times but kicked them out, which is a bit of a concern. If you peek through that Vallisneria, you can see a little peppermint bristlenose fry in there, which is pretty much the cutest thing ever. We'll move across now to my Celestial Pearl Danio and black cherry shrimp tank, and as you can see, yet another hang-on breeder box here, but this one is chock full of Celestial Pearl Danio fry, which I'm really happy about. So both sides, I'm not even going to attempt to count how many are in here, but there's an absolute cloud of them. So I found this to be like a very rewarding and easy process, breeding these CPDs, and later on we'll see the emerald raspberries as well. If you haven't seen an adult one, that's what they look like. They're the only fish in this tank. CPDs, these sort of dark blue fish, orange fins, yellow spots, but they're kind of very sought after, and they're only recently discovered into the hobby, so I think that's worthwhile trying to make more of them. So what I'm thinking is I just want to have a constant rotation of emerald raspberries and CPDs in a hang-on breeder box, really get the populations going, and yeah, either I'll do a huge tank of them myself, or I'll use that to fund some projects and stuff in the fish room. So I gave this tank a fair old haircut the other day, so it's not looking the best, so I've got to wait for it to all grow back in again. Yeah, the plants are just some Monte Carlo, some AR Mini, Hydrocotyle Tripotita Japan here, Blixa Japonica at the back, and some Hygrophila Pinnatophyta. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this tank. If we move across now, we've got my Pseudomogil Gertrude, the spotted blue eyes. We've also got some Ginga rubra endlers in here that unfortunately they're only males, so that's a bit of a disappointment. I'm just considering whether I get a female or I just mix them in with that other colony, which people are probably shuddering about, but I've had them for a while and I just didn't find that they were as prolific as some other endlers or guppies, and yeah, I think they're an awesome fish, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm invested enough to buy some more of them. And then we have up here another koi betta here, which has fathered the other half of the spawn, which we'll take a look at very shortly. So he's another absolute beaut, and I'm stoked to have the genetics of such two great looking bettas continuing on in my fish room. Okay, so now we're moving on to more of the big boys here. This is a male 50-50 Black Diamond and Motoro Stingray. We've got a Saratoga Leichhardt, Australian native there. We've got some striped silver dollars, which are really bulking up, and I'm happy about that. And we've got some orange-head Tapio Geophagus in there as well. So really nice sort of peaceful tank. Not concerned about any real biffs or anything in here. I've noticed that the Geophagus have exhibited some breeding behaviour, digging some pits and stuff like that, but yeah, just really enjoyable tank, and my kids absolutely love running in here and telling me that there's a Stingray in here, so that's part of it as well. But I love the Stingray, and yeah, just can't wait to upgrade him into a much bigger tank soon. So in this tank we've got a flower horn, a Jack Dempsey, a Jaguar cichlid, and a pair of convicts. Pretty much the Thunderdome of tanks in here, but I think the heightened aggression on all the fish are sort of helping to keep everyone in check, but this is certainly not going to stay this way forever. I'll probably end up moving all of them on except for the Jag, because the Jag's definitely my favourite, but yeah, I just sort of wanted to play around with some more fish and see how we go. So yeah, I've been pretty happy so far with this, but yeah, we'll be separating things before anything gets out of hand or anything like that. So yeah, the flower horn I think's really starting to look okay in recent times, which is really good to see as well. Yeah, my favourite is certainly the Parachromis Managuens Jaguar cichlid. Moving across, we've got planted tank here with angelfish and discus and some Bosemani rainbows. So all these angelfish here are offspring from a pair that I've bred, and yeah, really good tank. And this one gets CO2 and has quite high powered light, so but I have had my struggles with blackbeard algae and stuff like that, so there's certainly no shame in admitting that. And yeah, really fun active tank to watch, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Moving across, we've got another planter tank with angelfish and some rainbow fish. We've got the Mount Poverty Splendida rainbow fish there. We've got some Irian red rainbow fish here, and we've got some black banded rainbow fish here, Melanitania nigrans. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, we've got the turquoise rainbow fish as well in here. So kind of a mixed bag of rainbows and angelfish, but another really active one, fun one to watch. And once again, this tank here has exactly the same light and does get injected CO2 into it. Then moving across, we've got the saltwater tank here, a pair of clownfish, a firefish, which is just there, and we've got a pair of coral banded shrimp in here as well. I'll just adjust the light so you can actually see what we're looking at. Alright, so we've got some zoanthid colony over here, which I've had for a long time. I picked it up and it had just 4 polyps at the time, which is pretty good to watch. Got some xenia there, fluffy morphs here, Dallas that I picked up from Sam Parker's house the other day, Montipora caps. We've got some, I can't remember the name of those other ones, a hammer. We've got a bubble coral here, green star polyps, and yeah, just a really fun tank to watch. And we've got some other zoanthids down here as well. Yeah, super fun, but I'm certainly on the freshwater side, but I think it's important to give everything a go before you dismiss it. So I've had saltwater tanks for about 2 years now, and yeah, there's no risk of that becoming the main attraction of the fish room, but certainly fun nevertheless, and something a little bit different. Okay, so moving around, we've got two better spawns in here from each of those males that I showed you before. So there is an absolute ton of baby bedders in here, but they're still very small little specks at the moment, as you can sort of see in the center of screen there now. But certainly love breeding bedders, and I'm excited to see what sort of colours we get out of these guys here. So it's a waiting game here, but I'm feeding them full of heaps of microworms, vinegar eels and stuff like that, and they're pretty much ready to get started on some baby brine shrimp soon. Moving across, it's a bit of a disaster at the moment because I took the CO2 off it and seems to be struggling ever since, but this is the aquascape tank that I tried to put together. Unfortunately, I've had to sort of ruin it by putting this sponge filter here, but the hanger on the back was messing around with the red root floaters, and since we didn't have CO2 anymore, I can filter it off the sponge filter, so figured why not. But we are dealing with a lot of this brown algae here, which is not uncommon in new tanks anyway, but it is kind of ruining it. But yeah, this one has all of the Michelin shrimp in it, so we got some crystal red looking ones, we got some crystal black looking ones, and there is also a few nice golden bee looking shrimp as well. So I'm really just trying to get this tank as stable as possible, and yeah, I'm just water changing with rainwater, adding some GH back into it, and other than that, we've just got to sort of wait for it to stabilize, wait for that aqua soil to stop releasing so many nutrients and causing a bit of the algae. So yeah, that's pretty much a waiting game on this one, but I am super stoked with the little shrimp. I think they're awesome. I can't wait to see what sort of colours we get, and I'd just like to hit the fast forward button on this one and see what it looks like down the track. Next door, we got another bit of an issue. We're sort of starting to get some green water happening in here, I think because of this light, which is really overpowered as well. So that's a bit of a battle too. It's unfortunate because I have to remember to come in here and turn it down because when the timer goes off, it defaults back to the highest setting again, which is kind of annoying, but we've got the rice fish in here. This is unheated and they're doing absolutely fine. And this tank I picked up from the expo and it had seeds in it, which are usually Hygrophila. So that looks like it's Hygrophila arcuata, I think it's pronounced. And I'm actually pretty stoked about that, to be honest, because I don't have that plant and it looks okay. So I don't mind a bit of a jungle sort of vibe, but it's important that we get some clear water first so that we can actually see what we're looking at. But I think this is the first time I've shown this tank on my channel so far, so a bit of a sneak peek, I guess, but it's a shame that I have to show it sort of in this form, but we'll get there. It'll be fine. Next door, we've got the Better Sorority. So yeah, it's got Millennium Stone all through it, 6 or 7 bedders, bunch of crypts, hairgrass and stuff. This one does have a bit of that brown algae again, just from the aqua soil, but you know, we'll work through that once again. And this little girl here was the other one that I won in the raffle, so keen to grow her up as well and breed her out. So yeah, I find that the Better Sorority is pretty peaceful. There are a little bit of nips and things like that here and there, but for the most part I haven't had too many dramas with it. Moving down, originally I did have the honey gouramis in here with the guppies that I was growing out, but in due course I've moved the guppies out and I've moved the honey gouramis next door so that I can put all of the licorice gouramis in here and hopefully try and breed them. So super stunning fish. There are 5 licorice gouramis in here. We did lose one a day or so after I got the mystery box, which can happen sometimes. It could be for a number of reasons, so I don't have any sort of ill regard or anything like that. Could have even been my fault because I put them in with the Tetras and they just outcompeted it for food or something like that. But yeah, I've got the species only licorice gourami tank in here now, and the other plants that I got from the mystery box are in here too, except for the swords. So keen to see this tank progress through as well. And then next door, we still do have both of the types of Carretera in here. So we got the black Carretera and the blue Carretera, or Emperor Tetra they're also known. And we do have the 2 honey gouramis in here as well. So super fun tank, and I found myself crawling down onto the floor to check these guys out. And I think what I'll be doing shortly is moving them into the next tank we're going to look at, and the last tank for the fish room. So the last tank in the fish room is one of my absolute favourites, and it's great because it's right next to my computer when I do live streams. And this is my Emerald Roseboro tank. Once again, we do have the hang-on breeder box here, and this is the more conventional setup that I like to do it. So we've just got some marbles down the bottom, some moss, and I just caught out a bunch of Emerald Roseboros a little while ago. Left them in there for 2 days, came back, and sure enough we've got a bunch of little fry in there now that the camera's probably not going to be able to pick up. But yeah, I can assure you there's heaps of little Emerald Roseboro fry in there, so I'm stoked about that. I'm keen to get that process going again. So this is what a fully grown Emerald Roseboro looks like, kind of like a CPD but with stripes instead of spots, and I think they're super underrated fish. So I definitely want to make more of them because they are really difficult to find. So I'd like to just increase awareness for these guys as a species of fish available to the hobby, and you know, try and lower the price on them a little bit as well. And by the way, Emerald Roseboros are actually Danios, but they don't have a Danio common name as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, so Emerald Roseboros it is. Yeah, I think we might have to move the Emperor Tetras in here before long, because it does seem like a little bit of a waste giving, you know, 15 or 20 Emerald Roseboros a 3-foot tank to themselves. So what we'll do now is we'll head inside and we'll check out the inside tanks, and we'll wrap it up after that, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video so far. So for the first indoor tank here, I've got this one. It's used to live on my desk at work, but obviously since I'm working at home it just had to come home, so we started here. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, I need to get in and trim it, but in here we've got some neon tetras, some green neon tetras, and some sparkling gouramis, aka pygmy gouramis, which you can see there's one right front and center. being summoned. So pretty fun tank to watch, but as I said, I might bring the wild bedders in here soon and try and breed out these pygmy gouramis. And then last but not least, the second tank that I've got inside is this Pallid Areum here that I set up. The plants have all done okay. Some of the ferns here, not so much, but we just had some leaves get lost there. I took out some of the pothos, the devil's ivy, just because it made the scape look a bit small, and that was a few comments that I got in the comment section, so I appreciate that. I did leave the Goldilocks one there. Other than that, we've just got the bromeliads all doing fine in here, and yeah, everything's doing okay. The moss that was on this area just got a bit dry, but I'm okay with that. The waterfall part is actually working really well. The frog bit's growing in nicely, and then down below we've got, if we're even going to be able to see with all the tannins in here, try and summon some of them to the front. But we've got a bunch of white clouds in here. Actually, I had someone reach out the other day, Marcus, if you're watching, thanks Marcus, and he was shutting down a tank. He said, do you want a few extra white clouds? So I did take him and I put him in here, so we've got a nice little healthy bunch in there, and yeah, it's pretty good fun to watch, especially when I'm working in my little home office setup just off to the right of screen. So super fun little tank, and it was a interesting build setting up this Pallid Areum here, but yeah, it's a pretty fun one. So once again, I'll put a link to that video in the card above now. Alrighty guys, so there was my full fish room tour, in depth. Hopefully it wasn't too long, hopefully it wasn't too boring, and hopefully there were some things in there that interested you. If there are any key things that you'd like to find out more about, for sure drop it down in the comments below, and I'm happy to make videos if you want to see them. So that's the whole point of me doing this thing, isn't it? So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.